If you work a 9 to 5 or similar and are looking to lose belly fat for good in 2025, then I'm going to cover the exact step-by-step process that I've used on hundreds of men worldwide, such as Lewis, Mirage, Sean, and Ethan, who all worked a typical 9 to 5, achieve their dream body, taking on average just 16 weeks. I myself used this exact process recently, dropping 13 kilos in 13 weeks, doing zero cardio with a disability. Here is how to lose fat fast, working a 9 to 5. 1. Set a timeline. Most people think a calorie deficit is the most important and start there, but what's often overlooked is having a clear plan and goals to work towards. As having this clear roadmap and structure is what allowed Lewis to drop 52 pounds of fat in just 18 weeks whilst working a 9 to 5. Now, there's two approaches to this that I use, and this is solely dependent on your commitments outside of your 9 to 5, your experience levels, and your lifestyle. There's the in and out approach, which is slightly more aggressive, where you focus on losing 1.2 to 1.5% of body weight initially, which then tapers down to 0.75 to 1% of body weight per week. Or you've got the sustainable approach, where you focus on losing between 0.5 to 1% of body weight per week. So using a 100 kilo man as an example, if you had to lose 1% per week every single week, to lose 15 kilos, it would take you about 15 weeks. Then simply factor in occasions, events, and off plans, and you have your clear roadmap. But the more of these you can minimize, the quicker you'll see a result. 2. Work out your calorie target, but create your calorie deficit with food first. You will not lose fat if you're not in a calorie deficit, but as someone who works a 9 to 5, you're at your desk a lot, meaning your time is limited to do cardio and steps. So what we did with Ethan to get this result in just 19 weeks was create his deficit initially with food, taking off 700 calories from his maintenance. Now, I don't know your specific stats, so I can't give you an exact amount of calories to consume, but a super straightforward way to work out your maintenance is taking your body weight in pounds and multiplying it by 15. This is by no means 100%, but it gives you a ballpark to work off. Then take away 500, 800 calories, and you've got your deficit. 3. Work out your macros. Again, I don't know your specific stats, and this will vary massively person to person, but a good ballpark figure for your protein initially is 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. It's the most filling and satiating macro, and it's the hardest to store as fat, so prioritize this for hunger management and muscle retention. Keep fats at around 40 to 60 grams for hormone function, then fill the rest of your calories with carbs. I prefer a lower fat, higher carb approach because fats are quite calorically dense, so by focusing more on carbohydrates, you'll be more satiated because you can eat more food. And carbs are what will best fuel your sessions, so you can easily build and retain muscle throughout the duration of the cut. So when you lose all of the fat, just like Mirage did, you have a solid physique to show for it at the end. 4. Work out when to train. Now, everyone has a preference, and it's solely up to you when you fit your training in around your 9 to 5. Callum trained first thing and dropped over 20 kilos of fat, but also Scott dropped the same 20 kilos of fat and trained every single evening. I personally say if you win the morning, you win the day. You get it out of the way with before you're mentally taxed from work stresses. However, the key is picking a time that you can stick to consistently, train to failure within every single working set, and timing your meals around that, which leads me on to point number 5, time your meals. Aim to have about 50% of your carbohydrates in your pre and post workout meals, as this is when energy is needed the most. So if you train on an evening, say 7 p.m, I'd opt for a combination of slow and fast releasing carbohydrates about 60 to 90 minutes before your sessions, such as some oats with some fruit. And then post workout, I'd aim for a fast releasing carbohydrate and protein source, such as cereal and a protein shake. If you train on a morning, I'd have a bagel with some jam on pre-workout, and I'd have the same meal as I just mentioned post-workout. Or if you prefer to train fasted because you don't want to eat something first thing on the morning, if you're training incredibly early, I'd opt for a very heavily calorically dense, carbohydrate dense meal just before you went to bed, so when you wake up, you were fueled. And yes, eat at night, you won't gain fat. That's a bit of a myth. As Sean got this result in 16 weeks and he had an evening meal every single night on the plan. 6. Steps and cardio are put in. The same applies here as within the training. Find when works for you to be able to get the steps and cardio into your plan. You can either start by increasing your daily steps, adding in cardio, or do a combination of them both. I personally suggest taking your current step count average and adding 2,000 to 5,000 to it. Depending on obviously what you can manage in and around work, you could also throw in some cardio. I recommend starting off at 50 minutes per week. You can do this in one single session, or ideally spread it out across multiple, whatever works for you. The key here is to start off as minimal as possible. Then when weight loss begins to slow, you either increase the duration of the cardio, increase the amount of steps, or increase the intensity of the cardio to get the needle moving again with on the scales. I personally didn't do any cardio on my last cut and I lost a lot of fat. So do what works for you. 7, weigh in daily. Once the nutrition, steps, cardio, and training are locked in place, you need an easy way to monitor and measure progress, which is where the scales come in. Weight isn't everything, but it is for sure the easiest way to monitor and track progress. A lot of factors come into play here, such as sleep, stress, sodium, and water intake. But weighing fasted first thing every single morning after you've been to the toilet, ideally in the same place, using the same pair of scales at the same time of day. This will give you your truest weight, and if the scales stay stalled for too long, simply pull away some calories or increase your output through either steps or cardio or a combination of both to get the needle moving again on the scales. If you follow the steps in this video, I guarantee you will lose the body fat that you've always wanted to. However, you'll probably have a ton of questions specific to you, your working situation and lifestyle. So if you want help putting this all together, completely tailored specifically to you and your working hours, completely for free, then simply hit the top link in the description. Me and my team will have a chat with you and we'll come up with a roadmap and structure specific to you. Being totally honest, I want you on the team because I know that we can guarantee you a transformation just like the lads in the video. But if not, honestly, it's no worries. It's completely for free. You can simply take away the roadmap that we'll give you and implement it yourself. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe for more straight to the point educational videos like this.